The 1976 Bicentennial quarter is one of the most talked about coins in the United States, and even though most people have seen it many times in regular pocket change, many still wonder whether it might be worth a lot of money. Some people even hear stories about certain bicentennial quarters selling for big amounts, like $17,000 or even more. This makes many viewers curious, and that is why today we will slow down, keep things simple, and explain the full story behind this famous coin. We will look at its history, why it was made, what makes most of them common, and what rare features make only a very small number worth high prices. By the end of this explanation, you will understand exactly what to look for and what is realistic when it comes to the value of the 1976 quarter. Everything will be explained in easy, everyday language so anyone can follow along. The Bicentennial quarter was created to celebrate the 200th birthday of the United States. The country was founded in 1776, and 200 years later, in 1976, the U.S. Mint wanted to release something special that everyone could hold in their hands. Instead of making a fancy coin that only collectors could buy, the Mint decided to make a design that would appear in everyday circulation. That meant anyone using a vending machine, buying groceries, or saving spare change could come across one of these special coins. This made the Bicentennial quarter one of the most widely recognized commemorative coins in American history. People loved the idea that a small coin could be part of a big national celebration. One of the first things people notice about this quarter is that it does not say just one date, like a normal coin. Instead, it says 1776 to 1976. This is because the coin represents the entire 200 years of American independence rather than just the year it was minted. The front of the coin still shows George Washington, just like normal quarters, but the back is where the special design appears. Instead of the usual eagle, the back has a drummer boy wearing clothing from the colonial era. Behind him is a symbolic torch surrounded by 13 stars, which represent the original 13 colonies that formed the United States. The design was chosen after the Mint held a national competition, and this artwork won because it felt patriotic, strong, and meaningful. Many Americans kept these coins simply because they liked how they looked. Because the United States Mint wanted everyone to have access to these bicentennial coins, they made an extremely large number of them. In fact, they made more than 1 billion bicentennial quarters. This is important to understand because the number of coins made is one of the biggest reasons why most of these quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents. When something is made in huge amounts, it usually does not become rare. That is why you can still find these coins in piggy banks, old drawers, jars of coins, or even in spare change. Many people saved them when they were new, so a lot of clean ones also survived. This high production makes most bicentennial quarters very common today. Even though most 1976 quarters are common, there are a few types that can be worth more. The first special type is the silver bicentennial quarter. While the regular coins are made from copper and nickel, the U.S. Mint also made some quarters from 40% silver. These silver coins were not released into everyday circulation. Instead, they were sold in collector sets that came from the San Francisco Mint. These coins have an S Mint mark. If you find one of these silver quarters in good condition, it can be worth more than the regular ones. The value is usually not thousands of dollars, but it is still much higher than normal. Many silver bicentennial quarters are worth a few dollars depending on their condition. If one is in perfect shape, known as a high grade, it can be worth even more. The most valuable bicentennial quarters are not just silver. They usually have something else special about them. The key thing that makes any modern coin worth a lot of money is rarity, and rarity usually comes from mistakes made at the mint. These mistakes are known as mint errors. A mint error is something that happened during the production of the coin that was not supposed to happen. Many of these errors are extremely rare because the mint usually catches mistakes quickly. But once in a while, an error coin slips through and enters circulation. When collectors find one of these rare mistakes, the value can jump dramatically. That is why error coins are the ones that sometimes reach prices like $17,000 or more. One possible rare error is a doubled die. This happens when the coin's design is accidentally stamped more than once but in slightly different positions. When this occurs, the letters or numbers on the coin may look like they have a shadow or double outline. On a bicentennial quarter, collectors will usually look closely at the words, "Liberty in God We Trust," and the dates, 1776 to 1976. If any of these look doubled, it could be a sign of a double die error. Some double die coins from other years have sold for thousands, and a strong double die bicentennial quarter would also be very valuable. However, this kind of error is extremely rare, and most people who think they have one usually do not once the coin is inspected carefully. Another rare type of mint error that can make a bicentennial quarter highly valuable is a wrong planchet error. A planchet is the blank piece of metal that becomes a coin after it is struck with a design. Sometimes, by accident, the mint will strike the design of one coin on the planchet of another. For example, a bicentennial quarter design struck on a planchet meant for a dime or a silver coin would be considered highly unusual, and therefore very valuable. These rare wrong planchet coins can sell for many thousands of dollars at auction. These are the kinds of coins that sometimes reach the high prices people hear about online. But again, these are very rare, and most people will never find one in regular change. There are also simpler errors, such as off-center strikes, where the design is not lined up correctly, leaving part of the coin blank. There are clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin looks like it has been cut off. There are missing clad layer errors, where the top layer of metal is missing, making part of the coin look copper-colored. These errors can be worth money, but the value usually depends on how dramatic the error is. Slight errors might be worth a small amount, while major errors can be worth much more. Collectors pay more when the error is clear, unusual, and visually interesting. Some claims about bicentennial quarters being worth millions of dollars often appear online, especially in videos or articles meant to attract attention. It is important to understand that these extreme values almost always come from misunderstandings, misprints, or exaggerations. Real coin experts and auction records do not show typical bicentennial quarters selling for millions. Even the rarest ones usually sell for hundreds or thousands, not millions. So while it is true that a very small number of bicentennial quarters have sold for high prices, these coins usually have rare errors, perfect grading, or unique features that make them stand out from the millions of normal ones. Many people want to know how to check their own bicentennial quarters to see whether they might have something special. The best first step is simply looking closely at the coin. If it has an S mint mark, it might be a silver version. If the coin looks unusually shiny or heavy, it could also be silver. After checking for silver, you can look for errors using a magnifying glass. Look closely at the lettering, the numbers, and the edges of the coin. If something looks strange or unusual, it might be worth researching further. But it is also important not to get too excited too quickly because many things that appear like errors are actually normal signs of wear or slight imperfections from use. Condition is also extremely important. A coin in perfect condition can be worth many times more than a worn coin, even if both coins are the same type. A coin that looks scratched, faded, or polished will be worth far less than one that still has its original shine. Coin collectors use a grading system to measure condition, and the highest grades are extremely difficult to achieve. This is why a single bicentennial quarter in a high grade can sometimes sell for thousands, even though millions of lower grade versions exist. If someone believes they have a rare bicentennial quarter, they can send it to a professional grading service. These services look at the coin under strong magnification and decide exactly what condition it is in. They also check if the coin is authentic and whether it has any rare errors. A professionally graded coin usually sells for more because buyers can trust the opinion of the grading service. In the end, the 1976 bicentennial quarter is a wonderful piece of American history, and even though most of them are not valuable, they are still fun to collect. The idea that a small coin from your pocket could be worth thousands makes people excited, and once in a while, someone really does discover a rare one. But for most people, the bicentennial quarter will always be worth more for its history and meaning than for its price. Still, it is always worth checking your coins because you never know what you might find.